Hey guys, welcome to Mikey's Video Game Madness. Today we're playing Call of Duty 3, which isn't the most well-received Call of Duty game in the main series. And I think, for the most part, people have an issue with this game for the dumbest reason to have an issue with the game. Like, some people have an issue with this game with not even playing the game. And that's simply because it didn't come out on the PC. Now, I have some gripes with this game, and I will tell you them as I play, but the version of Call of Duty 3 that I am playing right now is actually the third time that I've actually owned the game. This is the third version of the game that I actually own, because I've had this on Xbox and traded it in for when I got PlayStation 3. And then, for whatever reason, I traded it in and I missed it again and I got it again. That might be somewhat because I miss World War II shooting games. They never went out of date for me. I always like them. I don't know. Like, a lot of people bitched about them when they were coming out all the time. I couldn't get enough of them personally, but let's start the game. We'll just continue. Now, one thing right off the bat I will tell you, although the other Call of Duties kind of do it too, is have these little story cutscenes while the game loads. But this game tries to be more story centric, and I don't know, it has a more light-hearted tone to it. And I know that the other Call of Duties had like these little movies that you watch while the game loads, but this game, I feel like, forces you to watch the whole thing, even when I would think the game would have loaded by now. I think these cutscenes drag on, and since they're story-centric and not like static maps and stuff, I don't know why, I just find them more irritating to watch, because it's like watching the same episode of a show over and over and over again. Luckily, when you die, you don't have to rewatch them, but I don't like that. And another complaint that I have is, I don't know why they took it out. They had it in Call of Duty 2, not being able to vault over objects. That was weird they took it out, unless they forgot to put it. I even think the PlayStation 2 versions of Call of Duty 2, like the big red one, or whatever the hell it was called, had that feature. I'm not mistaken. People also like it better sometimes when Infantry Ward makes the Call of Duty games. So Infantry Ward now isn't even the same company. I think Sledgehammer, which was originally supposed to make its own Call of Duty game that was supposed to be in third person, and now they're making the Call of Duty Advanced Warfighter games, because I think the last game they helped with was Modern Warfare Part 3. Sorry, I paused there. But beside that, I think Treyarch or Treyarch, however you say it, I know it probably sounds stupid because I don't know how to say it, but especially when I'm trying to play this in focus, but they have pretty much, beside Call of Duty and Call of Duty 2, have made my favorite Call of Duty games. And that might be because their games are usually set in the past, as after Call of Duty 2, all Infantry Wars games take place either in modern times or some future. And the only third minor complaint that I have about this game is it doesn't feel as fluid to me. It's something you can't explain. You just have to feel it on your own. It doesn't feel as fluid as the other Call of Duties to me. I can't explain it. And for some reason, unless I'm mistaken, this doesn't have run, which is weird. That might just be because I'm used to playing the other Call of Duties, though. Because when you push the button, you usually push for run. You use your binoculars. I don't know. And I'm not paying attention. I just saw a boost. I guess I'm used to the racing games for a boost, and I wasn't thinking. Also, I think that some of these they try to be more interactive, like with these scenes where you have to battle soldiers like with guns and stuff, and there's parts where you have to put bombs together and stuff. One thing about the PlayStation version that I recommend is to turn off the 6-axis motion control. This was a launch title for the PlayStation 3. It might be in my head, but I think the Xbox version felt smoother. But I haven't played the Xbox version in years. That's the one I played the most of, actually. I put the most time into the Xbox version. And I liked the Xbox version so much I got it for the PlayStation 3, but by the time I got to the PlayStation 3 I played it to death, so I didn't own it that long when I traded it in. And then after like 6 years or so, whatever amount of time it was, like I got it again like a few months ago, so I'm replaying it, but it just, I don't know. Doesn't feel as fluid as the other Call of Duties, but it's definitely playable. I like it a lot, and it makes me miss World War II shooters. But yeah, I pretty much named all my gripes. As far as the smoothness of the gameplay, I just can't explain it. I just think the aiming and stuff is slightly off, and the way that the game feels, it feels a little bit different. I can't explain it. And then those little cutscenes, I definitely recommend, if you're playing the PlayStation 3 version though, to turn off the motion controls, because they're pretty terrible. One thing about the PlayStation 4 I've noticed a little bit is them trying to bring back motion controls. I will say the 6-axis motion controller on the DualShock 4 is actually a lot more accurate, but I still don't want to use motion controls unless I'm playing like Wii or something. Some stuff's kind of cool. Like I know on Infamous, I played this game all these years ago, and I'm stuck because I forgot where to go. Isn't that pathetic? I feel like this game might have been rushed a little bit, and I think they spent some more time on it. They could have polished it up. Then again, they could have fixed it in patches. Maybe this is what they wanted. I don't know. Oh, I'm supposed to go down there. Maybe. Yeah. I'm also playing this with barely any sound. This is a very quiet game. Like, you have to turn your sound up a little bit more than usual. I don't know if that's because when the explosions happen they wanted to scare the shit out of you because they'll make it loud then, but I don't know. I like how detailed the guns are. The guns look more detailed than usual, although they have this weird silvery look to them that aren't in the other Call of Duties. They almost look like they're made out of sterling silver. I don't know why. Although this gun looks fine. I've never held an MP40 before, so I can't tell you what they look like in real life. But I imagine they didn't look like they just came off of the assembly line. I'm sitting Indian style and my right leg is fully asleep, and I'm trying to move around in a small confined spot on the floor because I had to move all the chairs because this game room's like awfully small, and I'm not having much luck trying to get blood flow back into my leg. Oh well. It's a very nice looking game. And you can spot Nazis pretty easily because apparently their helmets are made out of the same thing this gun's made out of, because their helmets are very shiny in this game. I don't think this game has that thing that they have like in the other Call of Duties where you can shoot through certain things and the bullets will go through, but I'm not 100% positive on that. But I think a lot of people don't like this game just because it didn't come out on PC. I know that's a dumb reason, and I'm sure people will tell me otherwise. But I mean, I pointed out all the stuff that I didn't like about it. But I imagine if I didn't like this game 100%, I wouldn't have bought it on 3 different occasions. I feel like the MP40 is way more inaccurate than it is in the other World War II Call of Duty games. Like, just the mechanics feel a little bit different, and that's including Treyarch's. And if I'm saying that wrong and I'm supposed to say Triarch, or if there's a completely other way to saying it, I apologize. But I think when they came out with World at War, I think they completely nailed the World War II gameplay and pretty much fixed every issue I had with this game. So maybe they were aware of the stuff that wasn't working with this game either, but it's fully playable and you get over the small shit pretty quickly. I like this game a lot. I'm not picking on the game, I just wanted to point out some of the issues I had with it, but it doesn't make it any less fun. It's just stuff you notice sometimes when you play. Even though this is an early PlayStation title too, I will give them credit for not forcing me to use those awful triggers on the PlayStation 3 remote. So bless the game developers for that. Because most PlayStation 3 titles, and some that even come out today, force you to use the triggers, and they're just awful for shooting. Because they're spongy, they don't feel anything like triggers, and if you use the controller as much as I do, not that I play games all the time, but I'd say I play a little bit more than just casually. I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore gamer or anything, but like my controllers wear after a while, and when they start the triggers tend to get loose when you use them fairly quickly, and they get super sensitive where sometimes, like, if you just have your finger on the trigger, it'll activate the button, and that shit gets on my nerves. I also don't like it when the analog sticks start to lose their tightness or whatever you want to call it. Like, I'll go out and buy a new controller. I'm really weird about that. But they seem to have fixed those issues on the PlayStation 4 controller, although I am concerned about the triggers, because I do feel like the triggers aren't as tight as they were when I first got them, but that just might be my OCD. I have noticed the PlayStation 2 analog sticks have kept up like fairly well, like, and I've gotten used ones too, and the analog sticks are still tight. They just, I don't know, I don't know whether they were set to be tighter than the PlayStation 3. So this is more in depth than just putting a bomb together. I believe this would have been 6-axis control if I didn't turn it off, if I remember correctly. The PlayStation 3 came out close to the time that the Wii came out, like around the same time frame, so motion control was a pretty big deal. I think motion control on the PlayStation 3 was probably a last minute idea. Everybody was all excited that the Wii had motion controls, and I think Sony was trying to capitalize on it. So a lot of early PlayStation 3 games use motion control. Now it's very rare to find a PlayStation 3 game that uses motion control. Like, they're very far and in between. Though, like I said, I've noticed that they've used it more in the, on the PlayStation 4, which is kind of concerning. That and the touchpad. Like, I think the touchpad's a good idea for like adding like virtual buttons and stuff, but I'm not completely sold on using it as like something as an aiming mechanism or something like that, because I don't think the surface area of it is large enough, at least to me. But maybe I have bigger hands than the average toddler, I don't know. I don't think the surface, I don't know if you picked up on my poorly thought out sarcastic remark, but I just think the surface area on that's too small to be swiping up and down and doing little designs and shit with it, or using it as a mouse cursor. Maybe it works for a laptop because it's on a flat surface, but I don't know. Now I gotta go through these little mini games. I'm glad they got rid of these mini games. That's one thing I don't really care too much for, but it's not a deal breaker or anything like that. Like I said, like, they seem to fix everything when World at War came out, so I think they paid attention. I think this game was a little rushed, because I remember in a short amount of time seeing posters for Call of Duty 3, and I'm just like, I recently just played Call of Duty 2 and finished it. Now you're shoving 3 down my throat? Like, at first I thought it was like a poster like for a game that maybe they made the poster like really soon, try to get people stoked, and I looked at the date and it was like only a few months or so away. I'm like, what the fuck? So this game did seem a little rushed, but it plays fine. I like it. It's a nice World War II shooter. You can do a lot worse. I like it a lot, actually. I'm stressing I like it because I know a lot of people don't, and I know there's some people that like it, and I don't want people to think I don't like it because of the stuff that I'm pointing out that I don't care for about it. But they're very minor complaints, I feel. I just want to be honest about the things that I don't like. I really shouldn't have to defend my opinion, but I care so much about what you guys think. Another mini game. You could argue, well, they'd have to do all this shit, maybe not a mini game with a controller in the war every time they set a bomb, but it's a video game. It's supposed to be fun. And it is fun the first time, but if you got to do a lot of little mini games on and off, they get old after a while. Because they don't feel really interactive, because it's almost like a quick time event more than a mini game where you're just watching a movie and pressing buttons to make the movie continue, if that makes any sense. It's one of those games where you gotta wait for the other people to do stuff. I'm trying to run and I keep on activating the binoculars. Oh great, I'm driving. Fantastic. This game also has driving levels, which I don't mind because they aren't quick time event type things. You actually get to drive a Jeep and you can pick what view you have, kind of like Battlefield. Now if I can only remember what the controls were to get it going, because obviously I just forgot as I got blown up by a tank. Ironically, the only thing I remembered was how to change the view. Come on. Hopefully I'm not too late. I like these little driving segments. I don't remember them being in any other Call of Duty games, but they should do them more. I'm curious what Advanced Warfighter is going to be like, since Call of Duty's been criticized. I'm not going to make it because I wasn't paying attention to the map, because I was running my mouth Well, this is a commentary. That's what you're supposed to do, is run your mouth. And here we go yet again. But yeah, I'm hoping Advanced Warfighter does something different. I know Black Ops 2 tried to do something different. Ghosts, I think, try to do different things with the multiplayer, but not really with the single player all that much, although it was a fun single player game. I think the single player campaign was better than Battlefield's, but I think Battlefield has a better multiplayer game, and it's really the only multiplayer game that I occasionally will play. I've still been too cheap to get the premium pack, but I really want the extra max. This also seems to have a little bit more destruction to the environments than other Call of Duty games that at least I've noticed. It might be in my head. I might have imagined it all. I don't know if that was the most realistic dilapidation of a building, but I'll buy it. But yeah, I hope they do something different, and I hope that the single player experience is longer than the Call of Duty single player experiences have been, because I feel like Call of Duty keeps on leaning more and more towards multiplayer each game. I just hope when they try to do something innovative, they don't go the route with those little mini games that they did in Black Ops 2 that I didn't really care for, where you had like the strategic view. Maybe some people like it. It might have been easier with a mouse and keyboard. I just played it on consoles. I don't know. But this is Call of Duty 3. Definitely try it for yourself. I personally think it's a great game. It just has some flaws that I've pointed out, but nothing that should distract you. Honestly, like, it's Call of Duty. I mean, you know what you're getting in for, and I already pointed out the pros and cons or whatever. Well, I pointed out the cons. I feel like the pros are that it's Call of Duty, and pretty much most Call of Duty games play exactly the same, so you already know about all the good stuff. But anyway, guys, if you like this video, please click the thumbs up button, and if you would, if you don't mind, I'm not forcing you, but I'd appreciate it if you leave a comment, negative or positive. Positive ones are more appreciated though, but I mean, as long as it's constructive criticism. And please be nice if you do decide to leave a negative one comment. Also keep in mind that I am recording a commentary while playing this, so I'm not going to play the best, so please no tips or anything like that. I'm aware. I finished this game, I've beaten it before. It's hard to play and talk at the same time, plus I like to figure out things of my own. I don't know why, I just find it annoying people. I know you guys are trying to help a lot of times, but I don't like getting tips. And you might send it to me on purpose now that you know that it irritates me. But I appreciated it if you guys ever did it. I know that you were trying to help me out. But it's just, I don't know, it's kind of annoying. Oh, we're playing the US. Now I don't want to stop because I like their weapons. Well, I actually like the M1. That's probably my favorite gun in the World War shooter games. But I'm going to pause it because I'll keep on playing. But, yeah, and if you're... Let me get back to what I was saying. Like, if you're new to this channel and you like this video, like, feel free to click the subscribe button. If you didn't like this video, I have a bunch of other videos. Hopefully there's something there that you like. Now I'm starting to sound desperate, but I'm sure you've been on YouTube long enough to know how to subscribe to a video, so I'm not trying to belittle your intelligence or anything, but you should totally subscribe. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for supporting the channel, whether you watch the channel, subscribe, leave a comment, or click like, or whatever. I appreciate it all. I do this, guys, for you and partially me, so I have a channel that has a lot of stuff that I like to watch too, but I keep you guys on the back burner of my mind when I make these things, so hopefully that means something. Hopefully that sounded sincere. But anyway, guys, thank you so much, and I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye.